Welcome back to Raised by Giants Illuminated Insights discussion. We are live. Welcome everyone in the chat. Good to see you guys and any moderators out there and any members out there. How's it going, Nina? No Bull Truth. What's going on, brother? Thanks for being a member, my friend. A reminder before we start the show, the super chats and super stickers are available, and any super chat or super sticker will be read out live during the show. Also, PayPal and Buy Me a Coffee links are in the description as well and are a great way to help support the show. Couldn't do this without your guys' support, and a huge thank you to everyone that's helped support the show so far, and a shout out to Gigi for her support on Buy Me a Coffee. She left me a thumbs up. Thanks so much for your support of the show, Gigi. Appreciate you a lot. And a shout out to someone that wanted to remain anonymous for the contribution to the show. Thank you very much for your kindness and generosity and support of the show. Appreciate you. So without further ado, we have my friend here, Luis, back on to give us an update on the Mexican alien bodies that were revealed during the Mexican UFO congressional hearing. And I think this is a really important thing to go back and discuss, because sometimes you can be wrong about things. But I don't think we were wrong about what we talked about last time. How's it going, Luis? Good to see you, my friend.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you too, right there.
Yeah, it's good to have you back on. And so I guess a good place to start with this is to give a good refresher on what kind of happened, because this seemed to just be like a little blimp on the radar of everything that's going on with UFOs and extraterrestrial and definitely the news cycle. It seemed like it was just a little period of time there where everyone got it up in an uproar, and then they went on and moved on to the next thing, right? So I think it's important to give a refresher for people that are listening that might not have heard about this or seen our last show together when we first talked about this, when they were first revealed by the Mexican government. So let's go back to the beginning and get how this really started from your perspective, Luis.
Okay, so here in Mexico, we have our UFO superstar, is Jaime Maussan. He pushes all the way through our Mexican Congress to make a hearing, if you want to call like hearing, because there was no a hearing, was just like a symposium organized by our Congress, and he start this Congress with real evidence. I can say maybe not that real, but maybe we can say serious persons talking about UAPs, because this committee of the Congress it's talking about the importance of the awareness of the UAP phenomenon and the security of the Mexican airspace. So,
really quick, do we know when this was planned? Was this planned for a long time, the Mexican UFO congressional hearing, or was this like a spare of the moment thing? Because we didn't get any information about this in the United States until everyone started freaking out about the fake bodies that were revealed.
It starts with your first UFO hearing
in the United States with Dave Grosh and all that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, from the beginning, from the two Navy intelligence officers that went to the Congress.
From there, Ryan Graves and Captain. I'm blanking on the.
No. The two Navy officers, former officers, not ex-officers, real officers.
I don't know when that would have been. Was that a couple of years ago?
No. Was maybe 1 year ago.
I wasn't aware of any other congressional hearing other than the one that just recently happened with Dave Grosh and Ryan Graves and Captain. I'm blinking on what his name was. Fravor, Captain Fravor. Yeah. That's the only one that I was aware of, but there might have been another one. I know Stephen Greer has done several of them in the past, and he actually did one right before the one with Dave Grosh and Fravor and Ryan Graves, like a week or two before that one.
Was the one that settled down the at the how do you say this this new office that is running the UAP topic. I don't know.
Arrow.
Arrow, yeah, yeah. When
Yeah.
they set up Arrow, they have a hearing with these two guys. They present the Nimitz, the pyramids of the Nimitz.
Oh, you're talking about the when they came out and said that the footage was real, that there were
Yeah.
actual real UFOs. Okay, all right, gotcha. Continue.
Well,
So it was set up from that point on. It
yeah,
was planned since then. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Mausan think that was a good idea. That if America, the United States of America, it's doing it, maybe they can push, and something can happen, and it happens. He find a good ally on the Congress, a congressman. Uh, we can talk about it a little uh, after. I have to say about something about him. He's trying to run for a governor of one state here in Mexico. But let's take it, get back from our context.
Yeah.
So he put together this thing of getting testimonies from respectable, from real people. Getting here was Aviloev, people from Congress in Japan. What's a real thing? Nothing was spectacular at that moment. So he think was interesting to make a surprise and throw two bodies of extraterrestrial beings. He say that was presented in the Congress, and all this media phenomenon found and happened. A lot of memes, tons of media outlets came with the story of Mexico presenting two extraterrestrial beings on the Congress. So here in Mexico, get backfire and a lot of support, as normal for Jaime. He always have to have a lot of people that hate him, a lot of people that love him. So it became something on the community, on the UFO community here, but more like a joke on the community in the United States and in the world.
So this was, just to clarify, this Mexican congressional UFO hearing was basically an exhibition, right? It wasn't, there wasn't anybody under oath during this. It was a symbolic under oath, correct?
Yeah, the testimony of the presence wasn't solicited by the Congress. So if I didn't ask, your answer can be whatever you want. So
No, no, go
yeah,
ahead.
they make a note and symbolic oath.
Mm.
But here in Mexico, the figure of how do you say, perjuicio, a false statement, in a place like the Congress, in a situation like that, it doesn't exist. There in the Congress, the testimony was asked by the Congress, and they were on the road in behalf of the Congress. Here, no.
Yeah, and you were talking earlier about how things are really done in Mexico, how you can just be say whatever you want to say and then people kind of believe it, right? You can say that you're a part of the Navy, you say that you're a part of the Air Force, you can say that you're a UFO expert like Jaime Maussan is saying that he is, and then people believe it, and then you are that. And that's kind of same way that it works in the United States in this field, right? You can be a UFO whistleblower, have absolutely no background. You can be an insider. You can be a UFO insider and have no credentials to support you being an insider. It's just a title that as something that's given to you. It's literally the only thing in this realm, this sphere, that you don't have to have anything backing up your title. You can just be whatever it is that you want to be. It's really wild how ufology and the spiritual community and the new age community can just do that. Like it would be like in any other profession, you can't just walk into a hospital and say that you're a doctor, right? You have to have something backing up your title. But in this field, you don't have to have anything backing up your title. You can be whatever you want to be. You could be a whistleblower in the United States for UFOs and ufology if you wanted to.
Or you can have a background in other thing and say you are a specialist in UFOs. So you are a journalist, but you have 30 years of journalism, but now you are a UFO expert. So here's something that happens in this community, and some communities that they think that it's like a natural thing that you're an expert on UFOs, so you don't have nothing to prove, because obviously all this conspiracy, it's tracking you to make you look like stupid, or you didn't go to school or university, so that's the problem. So you don't need to have a background.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So let's fast forward here a little bit since our last discussion. What has happened since they wheeled out these fake extraterrestrial bodies? Have they done studies on them since the last time we discussed? Have there been scientists that's examined them? Have there been further DNA tests done on these bodies?
So the thing didn't get well for Jaime here in Mexico with the scientific community. Have a lot of backfire on social media. So he think was a good idea to make the body, or at least one body, analyze it in the presence of a notary. So he can say that the analysis was really done to the body. So the people here and maybe in other parts of the world watching it with very little preparation or education think that the notary make it real. The notary just give testimony and say they do what they do. There's nothing to do with scientific on a notary.
Mm.
So he took the bodies to a undisclosure location, because he didn't want to say where was the analysis, and put it a live show for this analysis. He took the members of her crew. They produce it. He took one of the doctors that was presented on the Congress, Dr. Salce, that he says, well, just he works in the Navy here in Mexico, but the Navy didn't endorse him about these beings or these bodies. So, like we say, you work for someone, but there's nothing to do with what you do in your spare time, no? So they get the bodies analyzed and invite two MDs, two doctors, one radiologist and one orthopedic, and they run the series of analysis. They do a tomography, they do X-ray. So I think they didn't do the right questions, because was ruled by Jaime's crew. No, they tried to make attendance to what they are saying that is true, and trying to do it very, very carefully, because these guys, these two doctors, wasn't paid. they say I want to go and see what's happened and give my opinion.
But since they weren't paid off by Jaime Maussan, then Jaime Maussan's not going to let them do that, or they're not going to ask the right questions, or
Yes.
the evidence is going to be inconclusive. Right now, what did they find what did they say about the X-rays of the
Okay.
beam?
The information and the conclusion they have was that some parts of the body look coherent. They have joints. They have the right structures. Don't look like something put together in some parts. Uh, but also, some parts they think that they need more study. Like the X, they say maybe we need some ultrasound to see what it's inside, what is it. We need to make more studies about the part of the body that is the pelvis. They found that there is no joints through the, we can say, well, this is extraterrestrial, so we can compare it with a human body. They say the femur didn't have the joint that it's needed to fit in the pelvis to can move the legs and rotate it and walk. Very, very, very interesting, because Dr. Salce, that was there on the hearing, on the congressional hearing, say that these guys were fast enough, super fast, because they have a three dactyl feet and hands, that they make it like a gepardo, like a Wolverine. But, well, they found that this is not possible.
He's trying
Because
to say that this thing walks on all fours.
yeah, and they found that the structures on the hands and on the feet uh, don't look like there was a lot of mobility on it. They don't have two bones on the forearm, so they can rotate the forearm. Some findings, some very weird findings, that Dr. Salce, the person from Jaime Maussan's team, tried to uh, make it the story straight, saying that this was extraterrestrial beings. Maybe they have different structures. Maybe they don't have knees, because there is no knee on the femur and the tibia. So they say no. Maybe this is different structures and anatomy. And I think, so why you get a human specialist to get something that isn't human? So there's no sense
Yeah.
if you want to say this is different. So nothing you can find here, it's applicable.
Sounds like there's going to be an excuse for everything on Jaime Maussan's part, right? If they come back and they say, oh, well, there's no way that this thing can walk around, the vertebrae in its back doesn't allow it to move and bend over and pick things up. And then he'll be like, oh, well, it walked on all fours, or, oh, it didn't even need it because it's an extraterrestrial being.
It
You know,
flies.
there's going to be, yeah, exactly. It flies. It's a dragon. It morphs and turns into a dragon. You don't know.
So I really don't believe this story. But if I see real evidence, I can doubt. But more and more the story comes, it's even easier for me to say this is a fake, this is a joke, this is a scam. It's very clear.
Now, did these scientists find any metal in the body of these supposed extraterrestrial mummies? Because I'm pretty certain that the Peruvian mummies, and we talked about this before the show started, the Peruvian mummies had like a metal plate inside of its skeleton in the chest, and I think some sort of metal plate in the neck and some metal plates around the hands of them. Did this new X-ray show any metal parts? Because according to what I know, they had to create some sort of joints, and sometimes when they created the joints, they would have to put some sort of metal in there to create the joints of these beings. Were there any metal found?
There was no metal on the joints. There was a plate of metal on the chest of the being, but the specialists say that this plate can't hold the whole structure of the body. But as we talked earlier, uh, this kind of analysis really can determine if this is made of or not. And the beginning of the show, the specialists say it. We can say that it's made of or not. We just say that there are bones, and yes, there are bones. There's nothing else with this analysis, with this equipment, that we can say.
So they didn't make a comment about animal bones or Did they date the bones at all? Did they do any
They
analysis on
they
dating the bones?
they try to not go there. That the presenter tried to not go there, but in some point, one of the specialists say, this kind of look like a boy, like a child bone. So fast, the presenter say, "Oh, you are saying that this is child bones," and the specialist say, "No, for me, it don't look like." But they didn't say, "No, this is not animal bones." They say it's bones. And the other finding that it's relevant, they found that the density of the bones, it's not regular. One bone have one density and the other bone have a different density. That is, for them, was weird.
Which really just solidifies the idea that it's been mutilated.
Bueno,
It's a
forget it.
mutilated carcass that's been taken from animal bones, from ancient Peruvian mummies. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Peruvian government has nothing to do with Jaime Maussan, because they know that he faked these with animal bones and dead ancient Peruvian carcasses. Is
Yeah,
that correct to your knowledge?
in fact, we were talking about it last time. There was a lawsuit on the bodies from the cultural department of the Peruvian government. Yeah, and the result of the lawsuit was these bodies wasn't ancestral or archaeological things, so you can do whatever what you want. These are dolls, these are fakes, so you can transport it, you can travel it, you can sell it. There's there's nothing to do with the government of Peru. So now the government is very upset because they are faking things on behalf of Peru, and Peru is trying to get out of this backfire of things that they are stupid, and they don't investigate these things and something like that. In fact, yesterday, yeah, I think Sunday, the Peruvian government make a statement about two more bodies that were sent from Peru to Mexico, and they found it at DHL installation, and they ride the installation and took the bodies.
Were these supposed to be supposed extraterrestrial bodies, or were they just ancient Peruvian skeletons?
Looks very similar to these extraterrestrial beings.
Mm.
Jaime took the history and say that this was made of from one guy he knows, but he think that they are real, but he can trust, but we will see what's happened. Yeah, I think they were send it to Jaime and get caught, and he has to say, oh, see, I know this, and but these are different, and I don't know. He's trying to go away.
What's the chances of a fraudster and a scammer concocting these supposed extraterrestrial bodies, making them out of animal bones, ancient Peruvian skeletons that were dug up, putting them all together, assimilating them, creating the joints, taking the fingers off, creating new joints, putting metal plates inside of them, and then taking them back to a burial site and planting them, and then having some researchers to come about and just discover them, so that the researchers or these people didn't know that they were fake, and then they present them as real. Do you think that the scam and the grift goes that deep, to where that they would knowingly put together one of these beans and then go drop it back off at a burial site or a grave site, or put it inside of a cave, like these supposed Jaime Maussan extraterrestrials were found supposedly in a cave in Peru? Do you think that they would go that far to do that?
We can go deep on that road if you want. Just a little.
Yeah.
So here in Latin America, we have a lot of archaeological sites. In years after years of tourism, of first world tourism, have come here to see our archaeological sites. It's a very common practice all over Latin America that people from the nears of the archaeological sites made of things, made of archaeological things to sell to the tourist. I can tell you, oh, that this is a piece, a replica of a statue. But if you want the real deal, I can find it. I have a friend that can find you the real statue. So you say yes, okay. So I sell you one real thing that isn't real, and it's very profitable because I can put the number I want. This is a real archaeological Mayan, Peruvian, Aztec thing, and you will buy it because I am a local. And you say, oh yeah, I got one piece, a real piece of that. So I scam you. So this is a very common thing upon Latin American cultures. So this thing that goes away and too far is one of that things. This guy, the guy that found it, the Tomb Raider, do that for living. He made up things for living. So he made it and take it to this guy. I was told, that this guy Cherry Yamin, a very polemic French guy that is sitting there in Cusco, Peru, in Ica, I think, in Peru, and making their own research about the city of El Dorado and things like that.
Yes, and you just said something very important right there that I hope people were really paying attention to, because I've seen these things before. I've seen these ancient relics that are supposedly have been dug up in the desert of Peru or in Mexico and all of these places. I actually had someone on my show that presented them, and I held them in my hands, and I didn't want to tell him at the time. I was like, bro, like these aren't real. You paid like $2,000 for this fake extraterrestrial mask and this fake supposed extraterrestrial skull, but they look real, they feel very real, but my whole skepticism of it was, well, if this person is just, and it's exactly like what you said, it's from a friend that lives in Peru, that they do the exchange with, and you pay your friend, and then that friend pays the other friend, and then he sends it to you in the mail, but they look really real. They look like that they were just dug up out of the ground. They got old mud and old dirt and stuff on them, and I was like, well, if this gentleman can just go out into the desert and just dig this stuff up randomly and find this stuff, why hasn't this area been excavated? Why hasn't archaeological people came in and excavated all of these areas where you just, every time you go to this site, you're finding ancient alien artifacts of ancient skulls and ancient alien masks and crystal skulls and all that?
In the case of these mummies, of these alleged mummies, it's because the place is secret, and this is one part of the things that you say, well, this is a red flag. Why does this have to be secret? There is no archaeologist finding these things. This Waquero, this Tomb Raider, find it and take it with him to Tierra Yamin, to Inkari Institute. That is the problem. That's the main problem. Why not open it to all the archaeology community? I think, and I know,
because it's fake.
no, that archaeology community here in Latin America, it's huge. It's the biggest community of all the world. We have a lot of things to research. A lot of people every year become archaeologists. It's a common thing here, and I'm not saying that everything you can find in a archaeological site is fake, huh? There are people that find that it really can give you real things.
But not every time they go to the
No,
desert,
okay.
Luis. Come on, bro. There ain't no way that you can make a replica of something, sell them the replica of that, and then say that you can get the real thing, and then all of a sudden just magically go out into the desert and start digging and then find that exact same thing that you made a replica of. No possible way, ever.
Exactly.
But that's a really important thing to bring up, and I'm really glad that you brought that up, because people, I see them all over Instagram, these ancient alien artifacts or whatever that glow. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
That they put them under a black light and they glow like a weird greenish bluish color, and they're like, oh,
I have seen one a lot of like UFO discs full of jaguars, birds, and alien heads, and really look like a Mayan archaeology, but they're fake.
it's unbelievable. And that's like an industry, and I've known people that spend thousands of dollars on this stuff, dude. It's unbelievable. Like, holy crap, like you're just throwing away your money for a bunch of fake products that are provably false and provably fake. But the thing about it is that these people hype it up so good. Like the people that sold them this stuff, they're like, oh yes, this was carbon dated to 2,000 years ago. There was a scientist, there was a DNA analysis that was done, a carbon dating that was done that dates it back to 3,000 years ago. Like it gets people all hooked in, and then they believe it, and they think that they have something real. The scam and the grift is really good on that, and I'm glad we just talked about it, because that's something very important, and I literally see it all the time. I see it on Instagram all the time. People having these artifacts, supposed ancient alien artifacts that put it under a black light and it has a weird greenish hue or a bluish hue that they're saying that the frequencies from the aliens are coming off of, that the ancient aliens had touched them, and that's why they're glowing this weird green hue. It's wild, dude.
Yeah, yeah. But I think, and we can move to the next thing that happens here in Mexico,
Yeah.
and I can make my point on why the scientific community sometimes have a lot of ego and don't get down to these kind of things, and it's very easy for them to discredit and to get down to the level of Jaime and rip him off, but they don't have they have a lot of ego, and they don't want to do that and spare time on that. But here in Mexico, after 2 weeks of the analysis and the presenting of the bodies, a group of scientifics on the University of Mexico, UNAM, uh, made a congress about uh, extraterrestrial life and why extraterrestrial life, the search of extraterrestrial life, is important. What are the research, the state of the art about extraterrestrial life, and they just rip off Jaime. They just punch him one another, keep it punching it until he die. They say this is fake. They, I really think they do the right thing, but maybe they can do better. Really, I'm a chemical engineering, and I think that I became part of the scientific community here in Mexico. So I think they need to make a better effort. They need to investigate a little bit more, because if you can defeat it, these kind of things in her own field, we can do it better here with science. I think we can make a TikTok, a real TikTok from a real scientific saying why this isn't real with evidence. But really, they maybe they just tired of Jaime's histories, but they just say, "Ah, this isn't real. This They took the analysis that these Peruvian archaeologists did to smaller bodies, the one that you find on internet that says that there is a llama head, turn it around, rip it off some parts, the bones and put it together. They took that thing and presented like these bodies are the same bodies, and I think that was lame. They can do better, but the damage to the ego of Jaime Maussan was done, really done. He get upset.
Yes, I have heard that he is very upset online and being kind of disgruntled with people. No Bull Truth, thanks so much for the $5 super chat. He says, "Love you guys, keep up the truth." And we will do. Thanks so much, No Bull Truth. Appreciate your kindness and support of the show, my friend. This really, see, people acting like this is the first time anything like this has ever happened. Do you remember Stephen Greer bringing out that tiny alien that he claimed was an extraterrestrial?
I don't remember the Steven Greer thing, but Jaime have a lot of little extraterrestrial beings.
Okay, so this was the one that Stephen Greer presented as the tiny mummy extraterrestrial back, I don't know, several years ago. These stupid
Okay.
freaking ads. Um, but and that turned out to be a tiny mutilated aborted human fetus.
Okay.
That's what that turned out to be, and he hyped it up as an extraterrestrial body as well. So this isn't the first time with Jaime Maussan and people faking extraterrestrial alien bodies. Stephen Greer did it before. So there you go for people thinking that this is the first time that it's ever been done. Stephen Greer was the first to do it. So yeah, that's Chloe says. I feel the plaster aliens are an insult to my intelligence. Yeah, they look like they were baked in a microwave for too long or put in the oven for too long.
Yeah.
But the plaster was there to cover up the alterations to the body, right?
Yeah, but the X-ray analysis, the tomography didn't see or didn't can analyze the skin. Why they don't do skin analysis at chemical analysis to the skin? Took a part of the skin and take it to a laboratory to see under microscope to make a chemical, real chemical test. They don't do that. They know what they know what they are doing, so they don't do the things that gonna go uh, against the narrative.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And the plaster is covering up the ability to be able to test the skin of the beings too. Do we have any idea what that has the plaster been tested? Do we know that if the plaster is real plaster or like what that has been made out of?
The dust that is on them, it's diatomea. I don't know how to say it in English.
Hmm.
I say alga. I don't say alga like that.
Scotty Boy says it was space plaster. That's right. It's from the extraterrestrial galactic ships that to preserve the bodies of the extraterrestrials on Earth, just like
It's
the ancient Egyptians would do back in the day, wrapping them up all in tissue or
it's
whatever they did.
diatomean seaweed.
Seaweed.
Yeah, back in 1,000 years, thousands of years, that part of Peru was sea, was the sea. So the dust in that part it's a seaweed, a fossilized seaweed. But that doesn't mean anything. That's that's why I always say to my friends and to all the people that I know that the presence of this dust doesn't mean that the thing was buried under the surface of this dust. You can put the dust and and take it.
Sprinkle it on like some salt. Just
Exactly.
that's right. Throw a little pepper on there to spice them up a little bit. Uh, so how many people in your estimate, Luis, and people in Mexico actually believed that these were real extraterrestrial bodies? And how many of them do you think still believe that these were real extraterrestrial bodies?
Jaime has kind of in a live show have around 3,000 viewers.
Wow,
So
he
I
has that
think
many? Holy crap.
so I think uh, maybe 10,000 people think about it. We are 180 millions. So
How many people would you guesstimate though? I know that this is just ambiguous and theoretical. How many people in Mexico do you think are actually interested in this topic? Is there a lot of people in Mexico that are interested in ufology and extraterrestrials and aliens?
like I say, and I want to apologize to everyone I don't. This is not personal. I'm not trying to make fun of anything or for anyone. We are a underdeveloped country. We have a lot of things to do with our education. We are formal education. We have a lot of problems of the guys getting off of the school in a very early ages because the lack of opportunities, the lack of jobs, of well-paid jobs. It's difficult, and for me, it's sad. But it's very easy here in Mexico uh, to to see people coming up with very fantastic stories, with products, with miracle products, and they are received here. But just because of that, we are a very underdeveloped society still. We are trying, really, we are trying to change that, and that is why the spaces like this and spaces that are open on YouTube for scientific uh, purposes, to bring the scientific knowledge back from for all the people that have a YouTube account and something like that. But it's sad, but it's true. Jaime has 30 plus years of career, and he, I think, 90% of the time has a TV show. So he have a public. So it's a sellable product.
So
So
Jaime Maussan's TV show is basically like Ancient Aliens in the United States for Mexico. Sort of.
no,
No?
kind of. We here don't have that knowledge of the ancient aliens type of things. Here,
But you know what I mean, though, like the
yeah.
stories within Ancient Aliens and the
Here, here,
embellishment and
here
all of
that
that.
here
Yeah.
that thing of stories will be even boring. He likes to put things that are flashy and very stroboscopics, like videos of UFOs and news about it. That they found a witch, they found a dwarf, things like that.
Hmm.
It's more like ancient aliens, but with less steroids.
I don't know how you can get less hysterics than Ancient Aliens. Ancient Aliens is pretty.
It's fun. It's
Uh,
fun. It's very entertaining, really.
yeah, yeah, I would say that it was entertaining. So he's basically just preying upon low intellect people, is kind
Yeah.
of what you're saying, correct?
Yeah, I think not low intellect, but low formation, low skill formation, low formal education. Because that with I think with high school or uh, I don't say college, but with high school education here in Mexico, you can spot really easy that Jaime is lying on some things, and presenting things that we don't know if are real or not, because like I told you the last time, he present things that recycles from UFO community in the United States.
Mm. So he's not only talking about stories, made up fake stories, but he's also ripping people off by regurgitating and recycling their information.
Exactly.
Hmm. Sounds like a cult. Sounds like a UFO cult Jaime Maussan's running down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can give your audience the last news about this and
Yes.
what's going to happen next,
Yes,
because
please do.
there will be a second hearing.
A second one?
Yeah, put
Sure.
that in your calendar. November 7th.
of this year.
This November 7th.
Ooh,
Yep.
what are they? What do we know about it? What are they going to be talking about? What are they going to present?
They're going to present the amendment to our aerospatial law here in Mexico. That is like the main event. But Jaime says that he will present, and I will get to that later, a new scientist that gonna say that the mummies are real. Very well known plastic surgeon in Peru. They call it the surgeon of the stars. So you can imagine this guy.
I see him now.
They they say that I hear that they are trying to present someone from NASA. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna be. Who's gonna be a former NASA what, or I don't know. I don't know. After Grush getting back from getting here, someone serious gonna end up messing with Jaime. But yeah, we were gonna have a second hearing on the Congress. As I say, the congressman that is pushing this forward, it's trying to run for the governor of one state here in Mexico. So there is no such thing as a bad publicity, no? They say.
I can't believe they're going to do another one when the U.S. congressional hearing, the congressmen and women from that hearing said that they'll never do another one. And Dave Grush didn't present any fake alien bodies. So it's interesting that he just had a bunch of stories that has no evidence and no proof for that he heard from other people talking about. But it's interesting that the Mexican government would do another one with Jaime Maussan. And you're saying that they're going to bring out some scientists and some experts to confirm that the bodies were real.
Yeah, I Sunday I was watching the show of the Maussan show because I always keep an eye on that. I really don't like that Maussan getting with her own story, and I try everything I can to push to push backwards from their stories and the narrative on my Twitter, and I try what I can. So I have to keep an eye on what he's saying. So he present this Peruvian journalist that was on the congressional hearing, Joyce Mantilla. He is like the counterpart there in Peru, inside of Maussan, and he present this guy. I have her name here. Let me check it out very quickly.
I don't see how they're going to get anybody that has any kind of credibility to go to this new UFO Mexican hearing. I mean, Ryan Graves already backpedaled on the whole thing and made like a huge apology tweet that he was even involved in it. So I don't know how they're going to get anybody from the United States or anybody even from around the world that is somewhat credible to go to another one of these events.
Let me read you the resume of this guy. He is a member of the New York Academy of Science. So I made my research. So for you to be, or me to be, a member of the New York Scientific Academy of Science, we need to pay $130 a year, and we can get members of the New York Academy of Science.
Pay to play, baby. That's how it works.
There is nothing, no? So he had 35 years of experience in medicine. Was past president of the Peruvian Society of Forensic Medicine. Dr. David Ruiz Vela. So I search it. So he is, I don't know how to put it. Like there is a show here. A discovery of two plastic surgeons that they're in Beverly Hills. They do a show. They go, and people go, and they make the plastic surgery, and it's a show. It's like just like that, a guy like that. So he Joyce Mantilla, he the journalist, present a little extract of a periodistic note, and this guy was making the research. He have a laptop, he have a white cloth, so he can interpret the role of the specialist. And he say again that and have a scan on the computer, and the top part and the bottom part of the computer says that he have to pay for the license because it was a free software. Okay, but I think that he is a specialist and maybe he can pay for the software, but never mind. He have a scan, a 3D scan, very different to what we saw on the tomography. He have a scan with tissue and veins and things like that. It really looks incredibly real. What's 3D, and he was saying that there was some spots where the fluid, the blood was running and was very, you can see it very clear. And so then he was moving to another part of this thing, and he was with, I think, 3 or 4 medals on the chest. Very weird. And Joyce say, the journalist say, oh, these medals are for the community, for the forensic community. They are the specialists in the forensic community see the medals and know what they are. And they didn't say to us what they are, but a really bizarre show. And I found that this doctor have a very polemic background. He believes on the cure of homosexuality. Very weird. So this is one of the guys that gonna come here in Mexico for the congressional hearing.
Wow. Sounds like a bunch of frauds and scammers for the new UFO congressional Mexican hearing. Holy crap, dude. But you know how you were talking about how they take advantage of the, let's say, uneducated in Mexico. It's the exact same thing here, Luis. Within the community, it's people getting taken advantage of that are mentally unwell, mentally unstable, the uneducated people. That's how they get wrapped up into this community as well. So it's really no different here in that regard and in that aspect of what you're talking about. You know, everyone's, you know, all in line for the fantastical stories, you know, of 33 Galactic Federation light ships are going to land next week or next month or next year or whenever, and then it never happens and it's never true. Or alien abductions or alien implants. It's the same thing that's being regurgitated over and over again for a new audience of people to come and listen to and to believe in. You know, it's the exact same thing here, and I suppose the exact same thing everywhere, where vulnerable people are taken advantage of, where uneducated people are taken advantage of, where mentally unwell or mentally unstable people are also taken advantage of. So it's really no different. But so that's all that we're looking for this this next congressional hearing. Have they've booked all the people that are going to come and testify, and we're thinking that they're going to come out and say that these bodies are real, these scientists are going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, we did the analysis, we did the schematics, we did the X-rays on these beings, and it turns out that they're real, even though that they can't walk, even though they can't walk upright because they don't have vertebrae in their spine. It doesn't allow them to bend over, and their legs and their feet and their knee joints don't have joints to them, so they can't walk, but somehow they're real."
That's it. But it's a show. Like I said the last time to your audience, this is not a congressional hearing. This is a show, a live show for our politics, for this guy, like this congressman, to get a top of the mind of the people, for Jaime to have content, because he was living from this congressional hearing for like 2 months of he is getting content for his shows and for his social media for 2 or 3 months, and will be a lot of content for him. That is what it is. We don't have to look further. And I'm not a skeptic or a debunker, really. I just have a critic thought. I think that we need to doubt everything, but there are some things that it's very clear that there are fakes, and we need to say it.
I agree with you absolutely 100%. The fakes need to be called out because they're polluting the community. They're causing confusion. And that's ultimately what it is. Causing confusion. Make the fake things real and the real things fake. That's the way that it works. But thanks so much for coming on, Luis. Really appreciate your time this evening. And I'll bring you back on whenever they do the next congressional hearing, and we'll discuss that one. Next Mexican congressional hearing in November. You said November 6th?
7th.
7th, November 7th. Next Mexican congressional hearing, and we'll chat about that one. Can you let people know where they can find you online, brother?
You can find me here at Twitter or X, like now we have to say, on X, like at Kikin2623, 2623, and have a podcast. I have a podcast in Spanish. And you can find it on Spotify if you have any friend that speaks Spanish or you speak Spanish. You can find it on Spotify. It's Expedientes Secretos MX. We talk about UFO cases in a critic way, with a lot of research and a lot of critic talk. So if you want to come over and hear something about it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, brother. That's what we need, is more critical thought and more common sense. Please be sure to hit the thumbs up button to help the channel in the algorithm. Share, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well for notifications. I will be back on Thursday with Jerry Marzinski. We're going to be talking about his book, An Amazing Journey into the Psychotic Mind, Breaking the Spell of the Ivory Tower. Do not miss that one. That will be at 6 p.m. EST on Thursday. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye-bye.